Hi, I'm Tricia at Club Scrap. This is the Inspired Page Kit Workshop. And what's cool about this collection in particular is this is launching our 26th year of monthly page kit shipments. It's absolutely incredible to be celebrating this milestone. All of you have been an inspiration to me. I hope I've been an inspiration to you. So let's get started with this gorgeous kit. I've begun by downloading and printing my Inspired Page Kit instructions, and those will detail every cut and how to assemble everything. You do not need to print these. I know a lot of people just work right from their tablets or laptops or whatever, but I've got mine printed here, and I've got my kit. Now, the first thing I do like to do is set aside everything that's not paper. So I'm gonna just slide off all of my embellishments. Your kit came in a bag, so maybe just keep everything in the bag. And I'm going to also be using my Accordion Pocket File to stay organized. So I'll take the front lip of this, slide it under my trimmer base, and then just set that up so we can stay organized. We'll be using 4 pockets, one to represent each double page spread. So if you don't have that, no worries, just simply take some Post-it notes and maybe label 4 little spots on your work surface, 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, and 7 and 8. And every time I reference a pocket, you just place the item on a pile. The advantage of using this is that it just uses a lot less space, and it's really quick and easy. Now, your kit also included photo mats. So how about we start there by organizing our mats and putting them into the appropriate pocket, which indicates the page where they will be used. Let's take 3 of the medium green. That would be, of the 2 greens, the lighter one. We didn't even feel like we could call it light green, so we just call it medium green and dark green here. So 3 medium green, put those in pocket 1 and 2. Next up, find the dark green. Those will go in pocket 3 and 4. Add 3 of these stunning teal photo mats to pocket 5 and 6. And finally, the 3 white photo mats in pocket 7 and 8. Next up, let's take the paper that came in your kit. We'll sort that as well into the order we'll use it. And what I find works great is if you hold the paper upright while we're doing the sort. If it's laying flat on the table, it's a little bit harder to sort through it. So just hold it up so that you can look at everything from the top edge. And I want you to find the small peacock print. So there are 2 peacock prints. This has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them on it. And just take that one print of this and put it face down on your trimmer base, and then follow that up with 1 large peacock print. I just love these. They're just so elegant and beautiful. Now I want you to find 2 of the aqua plain. So that's the brightest, lightest color in the 12x12 set. And you're gonna take both of them, put them on the trimmer. Next up, let's look for the cut-apart sheet. And usually those are collated on the back of the pile. And find the one that says make each day your masterpiece. Put that face down, and then the other cut apart that has the more narrow border strips. And then it says never underestimate the difference you make. Put that face down. Next up, 2 of the dark green papers, 2 dark green, then 2 medium green. And for this, I am going to place the paper with the texture side facing down. Follow that with 1 teal, and then the remaining large peacock print face down. Then the small peacock print face down. Finally, the last teal, that should be the final sheet in your packet. Flip everything back over to where we began, and we will start the trimming process. So if you've never used a guillotine style trimmer before, I do highly recommend this model. I like it because it has a vertical columns every 1/4 inch, which is really where we're going to be hanging with our measurements. And then we've got our ridge at the top so that we can rest the paper on there to keep it level. The blade locks, I'll unlock that, and the blade stands up on its own. Plus we can support our paper with our left hand by pushing down on this clear bar. And that keeps the paper from wiggling around in the trimmer when we're slicing. Also, if you're using a different trimmer, just kind of proceed slowly. I want to mention that you can slow down the pace of this video by clicking on the settings button in your YouTube playback channel area. There's a little gear button. If you click on that, choose playback speed, and then select 0.75. That will slow me down to a more reasonable rate if you're brand new at this. But once you become proficient and have a little bit of practice with my method, you're gonna save so much time on your scrapbooking. So let's start with this. I'm placing it right side up in the trimmer, and we'll cut at 9 1/4. So by way of review, just find the hole number 9, and then you have to go left 1 column to find 9 1/4. So you're making that number bigger by moving to the left. Push down on this clear bar and then slice and leave the paper lay where it lands. And then slide down to 5 1/2. So that's 5 plus 1, 2 columns to the left, and slice. Now the piece that's in the base of your trimmer and the piece that just fell, they both go in pocket 5 and 6. And when I do so, I do it at an angle. Don't try to shove those papers down into the pocket. They will not fit, and I still want to be able to see the number of the pocket. And then the remaining more narrow piece that's still laying there, that one goes in pocket 1 and 2. Also file that at an angle. Next up, take the large peacock print. We're going to do a classic Tricia move here, and I use this one all the time on prints that are designed like this. I'm going to trim at 9 and then slide all the way down to 3. Now, again, make sure you're pushing on that clear bar to stabilize that paper. This big guy, 7 and 8, again, at an angle. Then you have this larger section we cut from the middle. Rotate it so it's horizontal and cut at 8 and 4. And gather all the pieces that you trimmed. They should all be the same. Plus this longer piece. All of it goes in pocket 7 and 8. Take one sheet of the aqua and confirm it's only one sheet. And this one we're going to cut at 10 3/4. So 10 plus go to the left, 1, 2, 3 columns. That's 10 3/4. Then 9 1/2. 6 3/4. So again, I find 6, go left, 1, 2, 3 columns. 6 3/4. And 4. Rotate the 4-inch piece so it's horizontal and cut at 6. So you just made 2 pieces that are the same size, the one that's in the base and one that just fell. Pick them both up and place in pocket 3 and 4. I'm going to cut quite a few pieces from this next strip. This is one of the 2 3/4 inch strips. We'll first cut at 10, 8 1/4, 5 1/2, 2 3/4. So you take 3 of the squares you just made, the one that's in your base, 2 that just fell. They should be all the same size. Place them in pocket 1 and 2. Then there's a small rectangle that fell. That goes in 5 and 6. And I'm really, really sorry to tell you this, but I did not use this 2 by 2 3/4 inch piece. It's larger than usual for one of my scraps, but it's a scrap nonetheless. Now the next 2 3/4 inch strip we'll cut at 9 1/2 and 4 3/4. There are 2 larger rectangles here that you made. They both go in pocket 3 and 4. Then there's a smaller rectangle for pocket 1 and 2. Next up, you have these long, narrow strips. They should be the same size going into pocket 1 and 2. Now, I just be mindful that if any of the measurements or cuts go south on you, it's not that your layout's going to be wrong. It's just going to be a little different. So, have a lot of grace with yourself if you're just learning this method. But if you hang in there with me, I promise you're going to grow to love it, and you'll get so much more done. All right, moving on to the other sheet of aqua. Just make sure that's all you have here. We're going to trim at 8 3/4 and 5 1/4. Rotate that 5 1/4. We'll cut at 8 1/2 and 4 1/4. The piece that's in the base of your trimmer, pocket 1 and 2. And the piece that fell, that's like kind of a large rectangle, pocket 7 and 8. And then you have this other rectangle. We're going to trim this one to make 2 pieces the same size. So cut at 5 and 2 1/2. Both of these rectangles, pocket 5 and 6. And then there is a small piece that fell. That is a scrap. My apologies again. The next strip, this is 3 1/2 by 12 right now. We'll cut at 11 1/4, 7 1/2, and 3 3/4. Gather up the 3 pieces that are the same, pocket 7 and 8. And once again, there's a little piece that fell. That's a scrap. And now our final strip from this sheet, we'll cut at 11 1/4, 9, 6 3/4, 4 1/2, 2 1/4. All right, now that was a lot of cuts, but what we made is a whole bunch of pieces the same, and then this another little scrap that fell. So I'll get rid of the scrap and let's get these filed. The first one, 1 and 2. The next one, 3 and 4. And you should have 1, 2, 3 left for pocket 5 and 6. So literally these are the scraps for 8 pages worth of paper. Just these little guys, pretty impressive. Okay, now we've arrived at Cutaparts, and I just want to point out, especially if you're new, that we need to trim the outer perimeter so that we have perfect registration for our Cutaparts. If any of these were off, it can affect everything, like the butterfly effect. And when we cut with these gigantic industrial trimmers, it's hard to keep that paper perfectly level. So instead of cutting it close, I added extra paper around the edge so that you could get this registration perfect. Now on this first cut, I usually cut shy of the guide mark in the corners because the paper is too large for me to see the bottom edge of my silver blade on that first cut. So now when I rotate, I can see the edge of the stainless steel blade. So make sure you're looking at a silver edge, not a black edge on your trimmer. And I can see that guide mark both at the top and bottom. Once I have it lined up, slice that off and then rotate again. Line it up. And take your time with this. You'll get better at it in time if you're new to this process. And here's another rotation. This is the third edge. And now I'm back where I started, and this time I'm going to look over to the 12 and then look to the right, and I can see that that's going to cut that last little bit off, a shaving. And it truly is a shaving, which I'm impressed that this trimmer is capable of doing that. Then you can get rid of all those little scraps. When we start trimming here, I'm going to have you place it so that your masterpiece is on the left. And our first cut's at 9 1/2. You can verify that you've got the right measurement by the fact that your blade's going to go between these 2 rows of artwork. If it's going to go through artwork, don't cut it, you know, figure out what's happening. Then slide over to 7, 6 1/2, 6, and 3 1/2. This one's nice and easy. A lot of times in class, students are like, okay, I got you. I can do this. You know, I don't even need numbers. I'm just going to cut this. All right, so these 2 larger pieces both go in pocket 5 and 6. And people do always ask, like, does it matter what order the item is inside the pocket? Absolutely not. It does not matter. These 2 narrow strips, pocket 7 and 8. We have a strip that we need to cut here. It says mindset is everything. That should be on the left. And we'll trim at 10 1/2, 9, and 4 1/2. The mindset piece goes in pocket 7 and 8. The journaling prompt, 3 and 4. Show the world what you're made of, 7 and 8. And the number 1 skill in life is not giving up, 5 and 6. Here we have our last strip from this sheet. Make sure the peacock is on the right. And we've got 9 1/2, 7, and 4 1/2. Know your worth and remind others of theirs. I love that quote. That's pocket 3 and 4. And then 1, 2, 3. All 3 of these are in a series in pocket 1 and 2. And rounding the corner on our very last sheet to trim, I'll cut again generously there and rotate so that I'm trimming accurately here on that guideline. So I'm lining it right up with that blade. And if you need to take extra time, just push the pause button. That's what it's there for. Or maybe you're operating at 0.75 speed. That's fine too. Once you have that last shaving removed, throw away your little end cuts. And now we have this position so that the narrowest borders are on the right. Our first cut being 11. And then 10. Now move to 8. And 6. And finally 4. Nice easy numbers on that one. Rotate. The journaling prompt should be on your right. We'll trim at 10 1/2 and 6. This larger piece, pocket 1 and 2. With scissors, I'm going to do a separation here. I'm not fussy cutting, I'm just separating. So the peacock itself goes in 5 and 6. We have a little frame and this little leafy accent. That is 3 and 4. Then we have this journaling prompt here, pocket 7 and 8. Nice easy cuts on this strip. We'll trim at 9, 6, and 3. Gather. Be bold, be brilliant, be you. That's 3 and 4. And then the next 2 pieces, always find time and the journaling prompt. Both of them go in 5 and 6. And the last journaling prompt, 1 and 2. These 2 strips, the larger ones, pocket 3 and 4 at an angle. And our final 2 strips in pocket 1 and 2. Wow, that was a great adventure. Very successful, I would say. I'm going to have you, if you're using the Accordion Pocket File, I typically lock my trimmer blade and then I grab the Accordion Pocket File like a taco. I liked that reference. Somebody in a workshop said that to me. Thanks, Heidi. I'm going to lay that on its back from now on. The trimmer is what holds it upright, so just make sure it's resting on its back and I'll get rid of the trimmer. I'm going to get rid of all of my scraps, massive amounts of scraps there. And now I have left here a pile of 12 by 12 paper that has not yet been used. I've got this strategically sorted. So here's what we'll do. Turn to the back page of your instructions on page 4, and we're looking at 7 and 8 right now. We're going to take the remaining papers and slide the top sheet to the right and arrange it so that you've got the entire pile of remaining papers here, except the top sheet is on your right. So here's my center of my workspace. And we'll work from layout 8 up to layout 1 so that when all the pieces have been placed, you simply work from layout 1 back to layout 8 with your adhesive, getting everything finished up, all the little details. And as far as details go, you can omit or include as many or few as you want. Sometimes you might not have time to mess around with ribbon and other embellishments. You have a strict deadline to get something done. So you can get as fussy or as laid back with these pages as you like. Now I've emptied out everything from pocket 7 and 8, and I do like to hold things in my hand while I deal them out. Because if you have them all on the tabletop, sometimes it can get a little difficult and time consuming to pick things up one at a time. So I'd like to start out with my little rectangles here. I think they go vertically onto the right edge of this layout. 1, 2, and 3. And I like that film strip sort of a feel there. And then we have the peacock that is facing the right. We have that strip. It's going to go like with a little space. You see how it makes a little frame here? And then we have the strip. I'll take my other aqua, and it should fit like a puzzle. Isn't that sweet? The white, and then nest it with one of the printed mats. Continuing on with our whites, we'll take them horizontally here to the right edge of the left page and tone them down a bit by nesting with 2 of the 4x6 prints. We're just working our way left. How about a border strip vertically here, nested with this guy? Up top, it's going to fit so nicely. I didn't mat anything. I just, look at how this puzzles in. It's so great. And our little journaling prompt is going to go down over here, wrapped with some ribbon. Your kit also included these stunningly gorgeous peacocks that were laser cut. I love them so much. And because they're from a solid gold pearlescent paper, it doesn't matter which way you flip them. So they can be facing, but I decided to face them. This one's going to overlap a little bit. So as you're adding this guy, just be careful not to put adhesive in this area. Just put your adhesive here. I used my bookbinding glue dispensed with a needle tip applicator. I just put a few dots here and there on some of the larger areas of the laser cut, and just, again, made sure I did not place adhesive into any area that overlaps a photo mat, so you can slide the photo behind it. I also put an edge. You have some washi tape in your kit. My production team does not love washi tape because it bulks up the kits and they don't lay as nicely inside a box. But, you know, sometimes you just got to have the washi tape, right? Look at, I mean, could that not have been any more perfect? The gold embossing, kind of that Art Nouveau styling on there. And I added a stretch of the tape across the edge here. So let's take a look at how I finished up this page. It looks just like what we laid out here with the addition of the ribbon on the upper half of the journaling prompt here. There's my adhered, and again, it picks up. You see that? There's no adhesive where it overlaps. And then on the other side, the washi tape, I just tore off the piece, ran it around back, and stuck it to the back of the layout. And I did finish it with one of those little peacock gems up here above the cut apart. A nice addition. That was attached also with the bookbinding glue from the needle tipped applicator. Easy peasy on layouts 7 and 8. So now I'm going to take the base of this page 7 here, this dark green paper, slide it on top of 8, then pick up this medium green, slide it on top. You might want to just confirm that the linen texture side is facing up. You know, I wouldn't put my shirt on inside out either, at least most days. I'm going to empty everything from pocket 5 and 6. And make sure you get all the little guys out of there. And once again, if I can, and if you feel comfortable, hold it in your hand while you dispense. So now I'm looking at the picture on the top of page 4. And I've got a wide piece and a narrow piece. These I chose to allow a little bit of the green to show through from the base page, not right up to the edge. It was just a matter of personal preference in this situation. We got these gigantic border strips here anchoring beautifully. So you got the Make Each Day on the upper left and your masterpiece on the lower right. I'll take 2 teal photo mats. They're going to be vertical and tilted on this left page. Be careful when you are tilting that you don't touch the corner, tip of this corner with the edge of the page. That creates what we call a tangent. So if I were to do something like this, I have a tangent here, 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 and here. So whenever I angle my photo mats, I always like to overlap slightly. One's higher than the other. That kind of eliminates that potential for those, in a design world, what would be considered an unattractive corner. All right, then on the top here, I've got my last teal photo mat. If you haven't recognized this already, teal is my favorite color, and this, oh, it's just stunning to me. A nice row of 3 fit beautifully in here, and you can nest a journaling prompt and then the sentiment here. After you fussy cut, just take your scissors and cut around. This guy's gonna look like a sticker. Put that peacock right there, and then you've got 2 of these larger photo mats here. You know, I didn't even want to cover up the paper. It's so pretty. This also nests. The #1 skill in life is not giving up. That's going to nest here and tuck behind. So finishing touches for layout 6. Let's take a peek. All right, after I fussy cut the peacock, I glued them on, once again being aware of the overlap as far as adhesive. I had 2 full yards of the double-faced aqua satin, so I put it to work on this layout. First of all, I ran a strip here, taped it to the back, right up against the edge of this print. Then I ran the stunning teal ribbon across, since it's such a wide header here, and I nested it with more of the teal ribbon and topped it with a 3-part bow. Now I do have a video that features using ribbon. I think it's 13 ways to use ribbon on your pages. This is discussed in that video, and I will add the link to the ribbon video in the description of this workshop. Finished off here by gluing a peacock gem to this spot. It's the darker AB, so the back of this gem is black. Now on the facing page, I again used a bunch of ribbon. One piece again, resting against this, I did run a thin line of glue. Once I had attached the print here, I ran glue along the edge, and then that way the ribbon stays put. It's just a very light coat. Don't get too heavy with glue when you want to use it with ribbon, because it can sometimes absorb and show. I added one last strip across the upper portion of the border strip, secured it on the back, added my vertical mats, tucked this kind of behind just as I showed you earlier, and that's all there is to it for layouts 5 and 6. Take the medium green paper that's sitting on top here and slide it over to the right. Oh, my favorite color, teal. Slide that to the right. And here we have this large peacock print here and the teal on the right. Reverse in your instructions now to page 3 at the bottom. That's what we're looking at. And I will empty the contents of pocket 3 and 4. We're just zipping along here. And let's start out with 2 aqua photo mats horizontally positioned here. And that's going to gauge the placement of this border strip. A vertical dark green here. And I did add some washi tape, a row of washi tape along there. One of the large aqua rectangles fits nicely above with the text. I added 2 gems above and below, and also a loop of ribbon using my slot punch. Then the other border strip that does not have the peacock on it, and he's gonna just cover just a little bit right there. I did my 2 vertical tilted mat trick again. It's not really a trick. And you've got a journaling prompt here that will nest. Now on these journaling prompts, you'll notice if it's right side up, there would be a little bit of a wider space at the top. It's just a thing. So in case you didn't know that little fun fact, be bold, be bright, be brilliant, be you. That goes on the left here. I once again used a slot punch to add some ribbon to this to kind of match other ribbon usage on the page. And then after this is fussy cut, you can tuck it behind, and then this can tuck behind as well. It makes a kind of a pretty little accent there. It draws the eye to the title. So looking at those finished pages. So for this, I used that gorgeous metallic green ribbon. I stapled a folded piece onto the right edge, and then I took a second piece, tied a knot into it, did the swallow's tail cuts on the end, and glued it on top. After nesting the Cutapart onto the aqua panel, I used my slot punch to just add a hole up here, threaded it with ribbon and taped it on the back, and then finished off with the 2 peacock gems, which that's very eye-catching. Now on the facing page, not too complicated here. I did run a strip of washi tape through the center. It kind of just brightens it up a little bit, and made another slot so I could loop the ribbon here. And I mounted this onto the page with foam adhesive, just to make it pop a little bit. Let's move on by sliding the base of this page over to the right, and then I'll pick up the small peacock print, slide that to the right, and finally empty the contents of pocket 1 and 2. I can't believe we're here already. This is great. All right, this strip kind of brings the pattern from this side over to this side, and then I'll take an aqua strip, put it right up against. So this is on the edge, this is right up against the print, and on top of that we'll add our border strip. That creates a really nice space there. Horizontally on the left, I'll add 2 mats. Notice they're about, 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch from the upper right corner, and then separated by that same amount. I ran some washi tape across here. I just had it stop at this point. So when you do that, I just ran some washi tape across and I overlapped it. I used a craft knife to cut it nice and straight, and the rest of the washi tape just peels off easily. Any excess goes away. So that works out super nice. I do love working with washi tape. And the 3rd green mat is a vertical here. So that's your placement guide for the horizontal strip on this side. Again, reflecting what happened here, back over here. The other aqua mat horizontally in that spot. Then you have a series of 3 squares. 1, 2, 3 aqua squares. I believe I attached these with foam adhesive. And then, of course, that's all optional. You've got your 3 things. You've got your peacock. Whatever makes your soul happy, do that. Then on the left, across the top here, never underestimate the difference you make. And you've got the journaling prompt here and a little mat there. The rest is kind of ribbon and other details. So let's take a look. Here's our 3 pieces added with foam adhesive. And once again, since I had plentiful amounts of it, I ran that deco washi tape across the, lined up with the edge of the border strip. Again, made little slots and then loops of ribbon. Always draws the eye. I love that look. Then over on this side, the washi tape running across the bottom, and the addition of 2 gems. You could put a smaller photo right here. In fact, there's just a lot of spots where you can add additional photos. It doesn't have to be matted. Just load your pictures up with your memories. That's the whole idea. We're simply here to help enhance your photos and allow you to express your creativity in these beautiful pages. So once again, I do sincerely hope that Club Scrap has been a huge source of inspiration for you in the past 26 years. It is our privilege and honor to work with you on preserving your memories. I hope you've enjoyed this inspired page kit workshop. And if this has brought value to you, make sure you give me a like down below. It only takes a second, but it really helps our channel. Now, if you're not already a member of Club Scrap, be sure to join us. We'd love to welcome you to the Club Scrap family. And also a great benefit is that members always save. But remember, anyone can shop. Thanks again for joining me today. I'm Tricia Morris from Club Scrap, and I'll see you next time.